Oi oi, I hope you got a license for that LeMans 24 hour. You do? Well, guess what? You don't deserve it. You already know what this video is about. You already know the events that has taken place. Everybody and their grandmothers has talked about this. The virtual LeMans 24 hours was an absolute disaster. And frankly, it's put the sim racing community a step back, if you ask me. Hosted, of course, by the most realistic simulator that nobody plays, R-Factor 2. Now, everybody's already said it. It's embarrassing. So if you don't know what's been going on and you've been living under a rock, then I shall explain. Every year, like the real Le Mans, there is a virtual version of the Le Mans 24 hours that takes place. Now, this used to be hosted by iRacing, which was perfectly fine. But a couple of years ago, the team that owns R-Factor 2 acquired the license in order to host the virtual 24 hours. So it's official at this point. But every single year that it has been hosted in R-Factor 2, something has gone wrong. And this year in particular, it's come to a peak, and it's clear that something does need to be done. Not to mention, you've got some of the biggest names in sim racing and real racing taking part in this event, and this event isn't cheap, because apparently, according to Jimmy Broadbent, you have to pay €2,000 just to partake in this. And just to list a couple, you've got Romain Grosjean, former Formula 1 driver and current IndyCar driver. Not a mug when it comes to racing. And also Max Verstappen, the Formula 1 world champion. And then the race happens, plagued by DDoS attacks apparently, which caused 2 red flags. They then took the rain out of the server just to see if that was the problem, and then people are still getting disconnected. And then this happens.
This is just incompetence. They can't even like control their own game. And this is already the 3rd time this happens to me now, that I get kicked off the game while doing this race. So it's also the last time I'm ever participating. Because what's the point? You prepare for 5 months to try and win this championship. You're leading the championship. You're trying to win this race, which you prepare for 2 months. And they handle it like this. I mean, there have been 2 red flags. They blame it on, I don't even know what, people DDoSing the server. Then they cancel the rain, because probably that's already a big influence. And then people are still getting disconnected. And now, of course, at one point also we were hit by it, and then they're just not dealing with it because they need even more people to disconnect. It's just honestly, it's a joke. It's not even, you cannot call this an event, a clown show. That's why it's better to retire the car, because drive around in P15 for 6 hours makes no sense for everyone, you know. Just a disgrace for all the effort we put in as a team.
Max Verstappen gets disconnected from the server, has to rejoin 2 laps down. They ask to get the laps reinstated, they get denied, and then they quit. What a joke. Now, the biggest question that is on everybody's minds is, what the hell is Motorsport Games even doing? They seemingly own every single license at the moment for Le Mans, the Indy 500, which is why we haven't had any official iRacing Le Mans 24 hours for a few years. And then they decide we're going to go with R-Factor 2, a game that's pretty much well known for having online issues. From all of the videos about the event that I've seen complaining about this, I think everybody's been a bit too soft on this. Whomever is in charge, both at Motorsport and R-Factor 2, this isn't good enough at all. R-Factor 2 has been around for the best part of 10 years now. Why is this still a problem? And where the hell is the money going? You have to pay something along the lines of £2,000 just to take part in this series. And I think there was something along the lines of like 50 teams taking part in this. And let's be a little bit hypothetical here. Let's just say there's only 1 person per team. That's still 100 grand. Where has that money gone? Now, I do understand that disconnects from games tend to happen quite often, especially if your internet is poor and you simply just do not have a good connection. It happens. You'll see someone just straight out of the server. But this wasn't a client-side issue. This was happening on the R-Factor 2 side. And the frequency that all of these disconnects were happening is just laughable. You can't use the excuse that, oh yeah, disconnects happen. Now, there are going to be those people out there that are going to be defending RF2 saying, oh, it wasn't their fault, they were DDoS attacked. It's not them that's causing this, it's somebody else attacking the servers. And that's true. ACC had this a couple of months ago where there was a bunch of DDoS attacks attacking events in their servers, but ACC had put measures in place to prevent this, and it happens way less frequently. Why on earth has rFactor 2 not done this? Now, you would think that the devs at rFactor 2 would be thinking, this is the biggest sim racing event of the year. Maybe we should do something to make sure that everything goes as smoothly and as cleanly as possible and make sure as few issues occur as possible. But the biggest issue is that this is a common and well-known problem of rFactor 2. And this goes back years and years and years. Why in 2023 has this still not been fixed? rFactor has embarrassed the sim racing community and itself by putting itself on the biggest stage possible, that being the official Le Mans 24 Hours, and look what has happened. And this is something that I think that people are just glancing over. To say again, the game is almost 10 years old. Why is this still a problem? It literally is like performing in a band on stage. Before going on stage, you would practice before going on stage. You would make sure that your instrument and sound equipment is top quality and nothing is going to go wrong. You would also make sure that you are appropriately dressed and make sure that you don't look like a scruffy hobo. Unless, of course, you are JM on cars, but you get my point. You had the best racing driver in the world come to your event and you weren't prepared for it. Why? And I should reiterate, this isn't the first time rFactor 2 has had problems with the biggest sim racing event of the year. There have been 3 so far, and all of them have had issues. Dear motorsport games, either sink money into rFactor 2 and try and get these flaming issues fixed, or drop the license and give it to a sim that actually gives a damn about appearing on the biggest sim racing event of the year. We are literally living in a timeline where I'm actually considering maybe we should use AMS 2. That would be cursed. But anyway, I'm sorry I've been on a bit of a rant, but this thing just really annoyed me. But anyway guys, I'm gonna dip. Thank you so much for watching, and I shall see you guys in the next video. Have a good night, everybody.